Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. What's a joke about I don't know, politics? How about a joke about politics, y'all? Why don't they allow joke damn. Why don't they allow voting in the jungle? Because there's too many cheaters, Johnson. Hey, what's up, people? How y'all doing? Welcome back to the show. Wow, what is happening? Excellent. Yeah, man. So we're live, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on X, and I'm on somebody's mind, Johnson. Oh man. This is me living in the black conservatives' heads rent free, just like this. You know you done mess up, right? You know you done mess up, right? You know that, right? You know you done messed up, right? You know you done messed up. Shout out to Bill Duke. You know, I interviewed Bill Duke on this channel, Johnson. Yeah. Damn right I did. Author, writer, director. Sure did. Yeah. Look, man, this is great. Look, check it out. I've had a good 24 hours. Not only am I being on the right side of history, because we're going to all be history one day. Let the record show that Tim Black stood in the gap for what was right. That's all I can ask for, man. That's all I can do. But more than that, though, man, you know, a couple of things are kind of coming together. Feeling really positive about the direction things are taking. I'm kicking him in the gut. I'm kicking him in the gut, Johnson. He can't take it. The truth bombs are going off. They're running for the hills, man. Man, we are doing the business, man. I want to say what's up to my moderators, Bug Bewley and Black Mamba. You too. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so we've been doing the business. I'm also on Facebook and I'm on X. If you want to come over, guys, say hello to the crew. I asked my congressman how he feels about term limits. He said he was all for them, as long as they don't apply until after his 12th term. Yeah, I like the first one better, but that's a good one. That's good. That's good. That's good. Now I know how Seth Meyers stays on the air. He's sleeping with the VP of production, dog. So look, baby. Look, let's keep this real, man. We you know what I'm saying, we know we got a lot to cover tonight, man. That's great. I want to let you know the show is sponsored by you. If you ain't paid up, pay up. That's right. Pay up. Now go to timblackpauls.com, pick out a shirt. It's on you. You pick up a shirt or a mug or a button or a scarf or, you know, a frisbee, an apron. We got a lot of great stuff at timblackpauls.com. Because we are built for this, man. We are built for this. What else? Oh, it's also brought to you by the Tim Black Mug. Go to timblackmug.com to pick up a mug. I forgot to bring mine down. Sorry, guys. Wash it and put it in the cabinet, didn't think about it. What else? Man, forget enough about me, man. How y'all doing, man? What's going on, man? What's happening? Everybody okay over there? Things been a little intense on the Tim Black Show lately. We've been covering a lot of content. We got a lot to cover tonight as well. But I want you to know, I'm going to try to not be as, you know, doctors say, you know, relax, Tim. Relax. Don't get so angry, Tim. I said I gotta get angry. You know what they're doing to us? They're killing us. I said, don't be so angry, Tim Black. You're not going to be able to save the world. So, you're right. All you're going to do is die earlier than you need to. And this going to stay doing what it's doing. The bad people are still going to be here, Tim Black. So look, man, here it is, man. We got Crockett shocks the internet. Eddie Griffin misses the mark. And Michelle Obama's podcast flops hard. We got some other stuff too, but the line only takes up to 100 characters, so I didn't want to go over the character limit. I got other stuff too. Where are my people, man? Who's in the chat? We got any people in the chat? That's why it's good, man. You want a shout out? Got a chat, man. Engage with the content. Tonight's goal is 400 likes. I think we can do it, Johnson. I think we can get there. Hit the like button if you like the content. Hit the like button if you like last night's content or if you like today's content. Man, I'm a content pumping out machine. That's what I do, baby. So look, let me see what we got. We go a very quick roll call of my party people, man, the Tim Black Wolfpack, who keep the lights on around this joint. Wasn't for the Tim Black Wolfpack, wouldn't be no show. Kenneth Waynick. How you doing, Kenneth Waynick? What's happening, brother? We have Crumb in the house. Rude Boy MC or NC. Cat Negrita. We got Robert. Salutations, my brother. Bodahista V. Bodahista My friend. We have the honorary. We got Sherry. My Sherry Amore. We have DeAndre up in the building. What's up, D-Boogie? Kenneth. The whole crew is coming through. We got AB in the house. And we are scrolling, Johnson. Who else we got? We got Black Boy B1 up in this joint. Black Boy B1. Thank you for coming through. Share this on your timelines. Share it on your timeline, people. Let people know we got Charles Brewster, H Stacks. H. You got a stat. Stephen Butler came through with resisting recidivism. I love it. Resisting recidivism. Give it up for that sister, man. There you go. You sister, you sister. Yes. Donald Moore is back. AT's in the house. Ralph Childers. Yeah, I think I got it right the first time. What's up, Ralph? How you doing, brother? Autobot Diva, Galaxy Ravers TV, always, Tobias, Timothy Taylor, JJ, you don't say. Indeed, Mr. Melody in the house. Aaron Roberts, Kursala. We're doing what we do, Johnson. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. A lot going on, a lot happening. And I want to say thank you for making this show relevant, important. Okay, guys, let's do it. Let's get into it, man. We don't want to keep people waiting too long, man. People get mad. They leave, man. They with Tim Black, man. You don't respect my time, brother. My bad. A refund's in the mail. Want to infringe on your time. Let's go. Let's do it, baby. I'm not even mad, man. It is what it is. Where we at here? Okay. Top surveys on the board. Survey says. Let's start with the introduction. Let's get a little political, Johnson. Remember, this is a political show. For those that don't know, this is a U.S. politics show. We cover U.S. politics, black culture, and breaking news. Not necessarily in that order. We've been doing this for almost 13, 14 years, somewhere like that. We've interviewed a lot of people. We've done a lot of things. But the most important thing we do is stand up for what we believe and say the truth and shame the devil. And we're going to keep doing that. I'm what you call a Democratic Party hater. So don't be surprised if you hear some hating on the Democrats. But it's all coming from a place of truth. Just because I hate them, because my people for some reason are under the mind control, then we got to get in my votes 95% of the time without even asking questions, really. That's crazy. Nobody else does it. It's a phenomenon. I know what it is. It's a spell. It's a curse. We got to break the generational curse. Yeah, man, we got to be able to go up into the voting booth and vote whoever has our best interest and elect candidates that are going to fulfill that. And if they don't, we get them out. Out, 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 Johnson. No hard feelings. This is a transaction. We got to be transactional with our politics and more loving with our relationships. That's what we got to do. More transactional with our politics and more loving and caring and empathetic in our relationships. That's what we got to do. All right, let's get going, Johnson. First clip on the board. Let's roll. I'm feeling good, man. It's gonna be a good night. We're gonna have a good time telling this truth. We're gonna go get in some good trouble. Come on.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
I don't know what it's going to take for the American people, for 78 million Americans, to deal with what motivated them to make the choice to elect this man again, to make the choice that will allow these people to undermine every fundamental assumption we have, that you can just be disappeared. And then they can argue that, a court is getting in the way of their ability to exercise, foreign policy in some ways, right? I don't know what it's going to take.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector. Next on deck.
Yeah, I detect some BS there, Mr. Eddie Glide Jr. Last time Eddie Glide was on the show, or last time I covered him on the show, I was I was mean. I was so mean I thought I went over to the top, I let my bitterness and the words he was saying get to me, and it took me a little bit out of character. I went a little bit too far. This time I try to be more tempered. Eddie, what are you talking about? You're not making any damn sense, Eddie. Eddie doesn't understand why America elected Kamala Harris. Imagine being a professor and can't read. Post-election polling data and analysis says 50% of American voters backed Donald Trump, while 48% supported Kamala Harris. Despite a close popular vote, Trump won the Electoral College decisively with 312 votes to Harris's 226, sweeping all 7 swing states. All of them, Eddie. I don't think the Democrats hear themselves. I don't think they understand. You live here amongst us. We're one country. How can you not know what the rest of the country thinks about this person and about their party and about what their party just did? It's not even that crazy, Johnson. It really isn't. If you say that you're not an elitist living in a bubble, but you don't understand why America chose someone else. Trump got 78 million votes, an increase of 2.8 million from 2020, while Harris received about 6.8 million fewer votes. 6.8 million. That's fewer votes than Joe Biden. Joe Biden got 8.1 in 2020. This drop-off suggests a lack of enthusiasm by voters or mobilization by Harris, undermining claims of her being a standout candidate. See, Eddie's under the delusion that Harris did such a great job, it's unfathomable that she could lose unless more than half of America's totally racist. Because that's what he's denounced. That's what he's putting it. He's putting it all in the bag of her being a woman and them being racist. She lost Arizona by 200,000, Nevada by 47,000, Georgia by 115,000, North Carolina by 190,000, Pennsylvania by 134,000, Michigan by 80,000, Wisconsin by 30,000. I guess all of those are racist. Then she lost Latino voters. She led amongst the Hispanic voters, but Trump increased his support by 10 points. Black voters. She won black voters, but Trump increased his number again. Support rose to 17% at 14% increases from 2020 per exit polls. Working class voters. Trump won non-college educated voters by 12 points in 2024, up 4 points from 2020. What I'm also trying to tell you is that it's not like Biden did a great job against Trump. He really didn't. He just won the electoral college. He didn't kill it. It's not just one factor. Women voters, exit polls, BBC, November 7, 2024, showed Harris winning 53% of women compared to Biden's 57%. Now you're going to say that women don't like women. Is it possible that some people just didn't like Kamala Harris?
Deck with Tim Black.
And we chose a felon because we didn't want to elect a black woman. So to read that, to actually explicate that, is to say we would rather destroy the republic than for that to have happened. And until we grapple with it, there's no amount of protesting I could do. There's no amount of resistance that could come into play to actually force 78 million people to grapple with what motivated them to put themselves in this position.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
The argument that Eddie's making here is flawed. It's flawed for a number of reasons. The data refutes claims that Harris was an exceptional candidate, or that it was racism. I will never say, folks, I will never say racism isn't a factor. I'm not that guy. I'm not someone who does that. What I will say is that I don't think that was the only factor, not even the deciding factor, though it is always a factor. But there's also a factor that I don't think as many women who voted for her would have voted for her if she wasn't a her. I think that helped her with women. At least with black women, it did. I know it did. Oh, I'm positive that it helped her with black women. Her loss of 6.8 million votes compared to Biden, failure to hold swing states, and diminished support among black, Latino, and working class voters, core Democratic groups point to a campaign that lacked a compelling message for most Americans. But see, Eddie can't say that because Eddie, though he's a professor, he likes his speaking gigs. Yeah, he likes his speaking gigs and getting the invites on the boats and going down to Martha's Vineyard or whatever rich, connected, well-connected, well-respected theologians, whatever he is. I don't think he's a theologian. Well, people that are connected. I can just stop there. Whatever they like to do on the weekends or in the summers or half the year, whenever they're just doing whatever they're doing, when they're not being chauffeured or driven or, I don't know, when they're not doing other rich people stuff, I don't think he wants to stop doing that. So he can't be honest and say, hey, it just was not a compelling reason for people to go and vote for her. I mean, not to mention nearly half of America doesn't even vote. Are those people racist or they just tuned out on this crap show that doesn't seem to get them anywhere no matter who's in that office, Eddie? What's up with them? It's so reductive to just say it's race or it's sexism. People only get two choices, Eddie. They only get two choices. I mean, I know we had Dr. West. I supported Dr. West. In a previous election, I supported Dr. Jill Stein. I have not voted Democrat since Obama. And I regret that vote. But I'm not racist. I love black people. I love black people so much I made more of them. With a black woman. But to Eddie, I'm a racist. Listen, Eddie, don't make me sit up here and defend racists. There are racists amongst us. I've talked about them profusely on this channel. But what you will not do, Eddie, you will not give cover for a crap show, a horrible candidacy. And Eddie, I know you're real red, sir. You had to know there are books that have come out to show just how much disarray there was, not only in the Kamala Harris campaign and in the Biden White House. I mean, we're being governed by committee, Eddie. Some of us saw that sitting here. And you're still riding this? I mean, I understand if you did this segment, I don't know, maybe January 1st or 2nd or 3rd, or even better yet, right after the election, after she lost. But to do it in April, to still be talking like, I can't believe, huh? What? No, sir. No. We don't get to do that. Trump's gains across demographics, including minorities, Harris underperformed even in blue states like New York and California, suggesting her weaknesses, her unclear policy stances, her late campaign start, association with Biden's unpopular tenure were significant factors. Eddie, she dropped numbers, places where you live, with your friends. Less of your friends. Eddie, what I'm trying to tell you is I got a feeling that some people that you know who don't trust you are going to be open-minded. On the low, they voted for Trump too. Or at least they didn't vote for her. Yeah, the numbers dropped in California, her home state, and in New York, another blue state. And still, you got one note. Ding! Ding! Racism. And I agree, it exists. It's something. But it ain't everything. Democratic Senate successes are the same location further underscore that her personal candidacy, not just systemic bias, drove the outcome. There were other Democrats on the ticket who were voted, that they voted for, who won. So it wasn't just Harris. Or maybe it was. I said Democratic Senate successes in the same election further underscore that her personal candidacy, not just systemic bias, drove the outcome. I know it's a bitter pill to swallow. And like I said, I know it may not do wonders for your career. But it's disappointing that at this far junction, where we're sitting at, we still got people like Dr. Eddie Glide still making excuses for a party to put up one of the worst candidates one of the most unpopular candidates, if not the most unpopular vice president, who was an unpopular candidate in 2020. Eddie. She stunk it up in 2020, man. Remember? You were here. I was here. Back when you were a different guy in 2020, but them people talked to you, didn't they? They talked to you, Eddie. They pulled you aside. They got your head right. They still blame Eddie for Hillary Clinton losing in 2016. And they blame Eddie Glide. They blame, Nina Turner and Susan Sarandon. I don't know it. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments section. Eddie Glide, Kamala Harris's loss is her loss. It's not all of Black America's loss, and I'm not convinced had she won, life would be better. In fact, I think it would be worse. Yeah, it would be worse. Live with it or leave. Or fix it. Yeah, you can fix it. Hey, but I want to help Black people get out of the burning building known as the Democratic Party. And this helps me because I want us to be free. All right, guys. Hit it up, guys. Hit it up. Let's go. Let's keep it moving, Tim. Let's not stay stuck on the same stories, Tim Black. I got to remind myself these things because I tend to have a tendency to go too long in the tooth. Next.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Because, there were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here, so I told you so.
So we heard your former running mate, Kamala Harris, say she's...
Let's stop right there, Johnson. Let's stop right there. I know it's going to seem a little bit... She just said, there's a lot of things we knew that was going to happen. I guess she wasn't that concerned about winning because if you knew that things were going to happen and they were supposed to be so bad, why didn't you have a better campaign? It seems like looking back, what Kamala did is just give everybody that she liked a field day or payday. Oprah, Tyler Perry, Roland, Al Sharpton. Yeah, it's like she just gave money out. They even snuck Stacey Abrams through the door at the last minute. Everybody got paid except for us, the American people. Yeah, Trump is so dangerous, and you knew if you didn't get people excited about your campaign that he was going to win again, and you knew it was going to be devastation according to you. Why weren't we a lot more focused? When I say we, I mean you and your people. Why weren't y'all more focused on putting together a campaign that was winnable? I would think that's what you do. If you're saying, this guy's horrible, and he's going to ruin the country and rob our democracy and steal it, and take the country to the pawn shop, China's pawn shop. If that's the truth, what you're thinking, and he's playing footsie with Putin, and selling us up the river, if that's what you really think, wouldn't it be incumbent upon you? Wouldn't it be like what you gotta get done is to make sure you won? One way of doing that is not getting Glorilla and Megan Thee Stallion to shake their asses at a concert. It's to shake your staff and everything in your reach to get people out to vote. It ain't all on you, but you did run and you did not want a broken convention. You didn't want to scrap it out against others. Because that's what a selfless person would do, A selfless person who wanted to beat Trump would make sure the strongest candidate would be fielding the field. And that's not what Kamala did. Because if she did that, it would not have been her. It would have been Shapiro or Newsome or Gretchen Whitmer. It would have been somebody else not named Kamala Harris. You know it. We know it. Eddie Glide knows it. He just can't say it. Not a very honest man, when it comes to politics. It's true, Eddie. You suck. But we know it. Yeah, if you wanted the country to be saved from Trump, you would have got out the way. You would have wrote a book about Biden, got him out the way. He ain't been president since 2021, and got him out the way. Not only you and Obama would have done this, but you didn't, because you are selfish. You did this for you. So when you were begging Biden to endorse you, and even after he endorsed you, Obama wouldn't endorse you because Obama knew you were a loser. Now let's listen to Tim Walz. Stink it up.
Not here to say I told you so, although obviously that's what she was saying about all the Trump chaos. We're saying, I have to say though, what does I told you so really mean here? I mean, people heard her message. They did not vote for her. She lost every battleground state. You yourself have criticized the Harris-Walz campaign for being too cautious. She may have told the American people, she may have warned the American people, but she didn't do it compellingly enough to win.
That is the absolute point. And look, when I criticize, I'm criticizing myself. I own this. I'm part of the ticket. And somebody has to come up with a strategy. I think this is exactly right. This is the thing. Look, Democrats, it was a good night in Wisconsin. I was over there. We saw that happen.
Look at him switch the topic. Get up out of there, didn't he? He got out of there. You know what? Also, if Kamala Harris really wanted to win, she would have picked a better VP. Yeah, she wouldn't have picked Floyd from the barbershop at the end of Griffin's show. Hey, what's going on? Something. Oh, you want a haircut, Andy? Oh, Andy, you want your haircut? Andy, I could take a little off the top if you like me to. I could cut a little off the top. Andy, your hair is growing. I could just cut a little. Oh, did I get you? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get a rag for that. I didn't mean to cut your ear off, Andy. I'm such a goof. Kamala chose the worst VP imaginable. I didn't feel the possible VP. She chose the VP that was worse, not because she loved the country so much, but because she was afraid that vice president would upstage her. There were better candidates for VP, and she did not choose them. And so what if they did upstage you? You still become the president, and you get rid of them anytime you want. You get in, and you kick them out. But see, this has never been about America. It's been about people gaining power and retaining power. And the retaining wall of truth is not something that any of these people can climb over without a helicopter. Tim Walz is trying to avoid the honest answer. One of the answers is, we had a horrible campaign and I'm a horrible candidate. Now, I don't expect him to say that. I wonder if Jake's going to let him off the hook.
Happen. Donald Trump's doing this. Just to be clear, nobody on the Democratic side is celebrating this, and those folks in the street are not celebrating that Donald Trump's making all these errors. I think what the vice president's saying is that was pretty self-evident that he was going to do that. I do think the challenge for Democrats, and this is, I think, a structural problem that's going to take a lot more thinking. Why, with all of that out there, did they not think we were any better than that? And they didn't. And I'm very concerned with the folks who stayed home. And these are folks that I'll say once again, Donald Trump has identified their angst. They can't buy a house. They can't afford to get a good education. They're concerned that their economic future is so precarious it could slip out from under them. Less than half of Americans have $1,000 in savings. And I think, why was it not so compelling? It should have been a slam dunk for us to say, we're the party that cares about that. We're the party that's going to protect Social Security.
I thought you were the party of calling him weird all day and making jokes about J.D. Vance, who's actually a lot smarter than you, and we all know that. But that's what your media ran with, and I don't remember any policies that you really talked about if you did talk about policy. All I remember you doing is doing a press tour calling them weird. And now it's weird that you're sitting at home and they're sitting in Washington. Or maybe it's not so weird. Jake, want to say something?
In Medicare. We're the party that thinks the ACA is a good start, but we need to do more on health care. And we didn't do that. So I'm concerned. Democrats do well in special elections and off-year elections, but the electorate that comes in presidential election years is different. When I was young, it was easy to know what a Democrat was. They stood with the working class and labor. Republicans were country club and for the rich. Today, you ask people, they don't. We have a 29.
All the Democrats got these talking points down about the way the Democrats used to be, and this is what we need to return to. The only problem is they're not in power. Where was this conversation, I don't know, in 2021, 2022, 23, 24? You know, that's when it would have been really good. It's during the season. You know, sometimes, you know, when I used to have time, I used to watch a lot of sports, and there'd be a sports team, and they could kind of make this claim. They could be like, you know, we're going to go work in the off season. The offseason. We lost, we didn't win the big one. We wanted to win the big one. We got some things we need to shore up next year. We're going to be working during the summer to get it together. But that's not how politics work. It doesn't happen every year. You get a 4-year run. They had 4 years to say, hey, you know what, this ain't working and we got an election coming up. It doesn't sneak up on you. The calendar doesn't move. Okay? No one was in a coma and woke up and, oh my God, it's election day tomorrow. No, they had a lot of runway. Both sides had a lot of runway, folks. And these guys, now everybody's smart. Now everybody's so smart. You know? Everybody has ideas. You know, ideas are great. I've had ideas. Oh, ideas. But they don't implement anything. They don't execute. And it's all talk. And it only proves my point, makes it more frustrating, folks, is that they all know what the problems are. They just have no incentive. They do not prioritize fixing the problems. They all know what the problems are. They're too tied to corporate interests to give a damn about fixing them. And until all of the money shuts off, they're going to keep going the way they're going. Right? Jake, care to get in here a little bit and let Bill Bixby have it?
9% approval rating.
Yeah.
It doesn't help us any that Donald Trump ends up with a 25% approval rating. We have to get back to the core issues, that this is about making America prosperous and stable and innovative for everybody.
Well, what do you make of the criticism that one of the reasons why your party was so resoundingly rejected last November is because Democrats were gaslighting the country, saying that inflation was not a big deal, heralding Bidenomics. Not only Biden, but Kamala Harris was heralding Bidenomics, pretending that there wasn't a problem at the border. And then fundamentally, this idea that President Biden was up for another 4 years of the job, while Americans in poll after poll for year after year were saying he's too old to do the job. Your party stood against all of those things.
Look, Joe Biden coming in and during COVID and being a governor through COVID did a hell of a job. But I think one of the things that we didn't do is we assumed that we said, and it was true, that we were going to have a soft landing and our economy was better than the rest of the world. Better for who? Better for the working class who was saying groceries were too expensive?
Tim Walz has all talking points. He has a bunch of scattered talking points that he runs through as quickly as possible before he forgets them. That's all he's doing. He's not even having a conversation. He's just listening to what Jake says, going, look, talking point number one is this, and I'm going to say this as quickly as possible so that you don't cut me off and leave no air in there, no way for you to get in there and stop me off, because if you stop me, I'm going to forget what I'm going to say. So there we go. Then we go to number two, because number two is this. And we're going to keep on doing this the entire time because this is the best thing to do. And if I see your eyebrow raise, I'll know to go to three. And three is this. 3. Oh, this is the thing here. This is the thing I say in every show. Forget if the numbers are right, if any of that makes any sense. And this definitely doesn't have anything at all to do with the question that you asked me. But we both know you're not going to correct that, are you? Because you a good company boy, Jake. Respectfully.
As they are now and going up. They got to see us talk about things. Again, I go back to this. Don't talk about food insecurity or housing.
Hey, Jake, what is he talking about, Jake? Come on, Jake. Come on, jerk off. Make this guy say something, jerk off. And what white guy said, come on, you jerk off. You jerk off. Yeah, you jerk off. Come on, Jake Tapper. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Let this guy just curtain this. That's it, huh? Someone. Guys are horrible, man. This guy just talking point, gibberish, babble. Jesus Christ, Sodom and Gomorrah mouth with nothing. I mean, just that.
Type of issues. Talk about people being hungry and wondering where they're going to live, or about their children's future, about real security. And so I think your question is spot on.
Now, don't talk about their problems. Talk about what you're going to do to fix them. See, Democrats are real good at that. And then look, black folks, we got to get better on our political IQ. We can't just have somebody, because this is the talk. This is what they do. Yeah, you know, one of the problems we have in the black community is this thing that we all know about, and we all know it's been present for the last 50 years. And I'm going to say I know about that, and you know about that, and that needs to change. And we're tired of that being overlooked and so important and so impactful, and America owes it to us. And then there we go back to you, Ted. And then they haven't said anything they've done to fix it. They make no pledge to do anything to address it. They've just restated your problem. You feel somehow vindicated that they even know what your problem is. And now you think they're on your side, though they have not committed anything at all to doing anything about the thing that you've just agreed upon. And that's what he does. That's what she did. And that's not what Trump does. Trump comes with ideas. Some of them suck, but at least he'll say he has an idea and this is what he plans to do. He may overpromise, he may underdeliver, but at least he tries. He tries so much, his people spending a lot of time in court. You all know Kamala wasn't going to spend no time in court trying to do nothing for you. You know that, right? You know that. That's what people felt. They felt like she wasn't going to do anything for them. You really think that people would vote against Kamala if they thought she was going to do something to make their lives better? I don't think it was even close. Not in the heads of the voters. It seems to me like the voters pretty much decided that she wasn't going to do anything for them. We almost done here.
I think we got intellectualized on this. I think the fact of the matter is Joe Biden did soft land the economy. He did usher us through COVID. None of us are saying we should be soft on the border, but we allow a vacuum, and Donald Trump fills it, the 800-pound gorilla.
He said none of us are saying we should be soft on the border. But you were the softest in the history of the country. And he gets to sit here, and Jake lets him sit here and say, no one's saying we should be soft on the border, but you were. Jake, wake up, Jake. Wake up. Get this guy. Uncle Fester's lying and making up stuff. Sitting there with a smirk look on your face does not deter the cannabis Democrats.
And their narrative starts to stick, and we look weak. We look weak like we don't care. We look like look, Jake, I'm not going to say, we need to do is.
You know what, Jake is doing something. You know what, I take it all back. I take it all back. Jake is allowing Tim Walz to ruin his career. That's what Jake's doing. Look, I apologize, Jake. Jake is allowing Tim Walz to die. Yeah, Jake's letting Tim die right here on the show. Look at Jake's face. Jake's face is, he's letting him pass away. Tim Walz died tonight on CNN. Or he died Sunday on the State of the Union with Jake Tapper. He's dead. Anyone who seriously says his name, Tim Walz, in a sentence about him being anything other than what he already is, governor of Minnesota, that should change if they got any damn sense. All they got to do is rewind this clip where Jake Tapper let Uncle Fester run around the ring for 7 minutes and not say a damn thing that made any sense. Look at Jake's face. It really does say it all. Now that I'm looking, he's not interrupting. He's doing his thing without saying it. Look at the disgust. Jake is thinking this guy is dumb as hell. He doesn't much care that he's a liar. A lot of politicians are liars, but Tim Walz is exceptionally bad at lying. It's like the worst liar. He's a horrible politician, and he's so full of it. There is no one fooled except the progressives that go, but he liked Medicare for all. He wanted sanctuary state. He wanted to put tampons in the boys' bathroom. And he really understands us. That's this much of the country. This much. Everybody else is going, who is this guy? Where is he at? I thought that Chick-fil-A was more prompt with the fries.
We need to just arrest people and ship them to El Salvador. No, we need to invest the money on border. We need to make sure that we have the judges necessary to adjudicate things faster. We need to make sure if you're going to be in this country here legally, and when you are, you're going to be uplifted, celebrated, and part of this great American tapestry. We didn't do that, and then it fills them. They'll find the example that is horrific where you have someone who's not here legally and they commit a crime. That is horrific, but we don't do a good job of telling that.
Don't you think your party needs to acknowledge that President Biden was not up for the job of running for re-election and that this was a major mistake by the
He made
Democrat-
that decision.
I know, but you all went along with the idea that he was up for it, and he wasn't. And
Look at the Tim. Tim is horrible. He made that decision. We didn't do it. He had nothing to do with anything. We just kept our mouths shut like good little puppets. We just shut up. We didn't say anything. But we're not supposed to talk. Mommy said don't talk when you're not unless spoken to. And I was a good little soldier. And I put my Nina shirt on and I did the thing. I did the thing with the thing. I put it on. I was quiet. And she didn't have to take the stick and put it in the space, the spot where it hurts. She didn't have to do that. And I didn't mean to bury the kids under the stairs behind the barn. Jake, I didn't mean to bury the people. I buried them under this barn. I didn't mean to bury the kids. I just wanted to play with them, and then they started crying, and then they wouldn't stop crying, Jake. And to put them out. And to put them behind the barn. I didn't mean to do it. I wanted to play football with them, but they wouldn't tackle me. So I had to kick a field goal with their heads. Yeah, to me, man, Tim Walz is scary. He's a liar. He's a phony. He's a fake. He's a fraud. And I got to give it to Jake Tapper, man. If there's anybody who watched this whole thing, and I want to tap my hat to anybody out there that watched this whole thing, Tim Black's Wolfpack, stand up, man. You now see one of the worst politicians in human history. And you see why Kamala Harris chose Tim Walz. Because out of everyone she could choose, this guy was the least of a threat, the least threatening to her position. a person in a coma has more charisma than Tim Walz. Let's get a like, guys. We're going to move on to the next topic. Let's do it. All right, guys. This show is brought to you by the Tim Black Mug Shop. Go do that. We're going to come back. We're going to do, I don't know, let's go here to Michelle Obama's podcast numbers. Jasmine Crockett, how's her failure? Now her shocker. She's going to shock you. And then Eddie Griffin. Yeah. Hi, Mrs. DeMark. All that right after this, Johnson. Jesus Christ, man. You know, it's not my fault if people don't know what they're doing. It's not my fault. I didn't make them do the things that they're doing, Johnson. It's totally not me. You know the deal. Independent black media stays unapologetic, raw, and real. Now you can wear the movement. From the Tim Black Wolf Pack to the Cornbread Collection. We got gear for the real ones. For men, women, even the little ones. No weak threads, no weak messages. Rep the truth. Rep the movement. Hit up timblackpauls.com and grab yours today. Because cornbread ain't free. Wolfpack. Yo, man, thank y'all for doing that. Tim Black, go to Tim Black Mug. TimBlackMug.com to pick up some Tim Black stuff, man. Tim Black Mug, it's wash, dishwasher, microwave, and Tim Walz safe. Yeah. Next, I reported formally on this show about Michelle Obama's podcast.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Yeah, I talked about it. It's a podcast with her brother, Craig Robinson. And you know what's bad about it? Every time I look up Michelle Obama, I see this now. The numbers are out. The numbers are out about a podcast, guys, and them numbers don't look good, Johnson. So here goes the debut. 335,000 was the peak of her podcast. Okay? That's doing well. Then, next week, episode 2 dropped all the way to 194. The 335 to 194 drop-off are the people, shows that the people that watched the first one did not come back for the second one. Okay? More people found out about it, and then more people came, okay? Then they went up a little, 253. And then even then, some people left, 230. And by episode 5, we're sitting at 140,000. 140,000. In the most current episode, episode 6, I didn't even see this one. It's at a whopping 63,000. Now, these are the YouTube views. We don't know what they're doing on Spotify. I don't even know if that's published on Spotify numbers. I have no way to know. But there's Apple and there's Spotify. This is just the YouTube numbers. So I said, wow, these are horrible numbers, Johnson. How can this woman who is the first lady, the former first lady, actually put out a podcast that gets less numbers than a 5-year-old playing Dreamcraft? So, well, let's find out, John. So let's get to the bottom of it. Because that's what we do here. We try to figure out why it's so bad. Here goes some of episode 5.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed and Pine Sol.
Well, it is great to see you.
Hi, you.
I missed not recording with you and spending time with you.
Welcome to one of my favorite places to be.
I know
Martha's
it is.
Vineyard.
We have to figure out how to get here more often.
You know, I keep telling you all that. Like, this is a great place for the boys at this age. I know you all are busy with basketball and all.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I'm guessing, and I'm just shooting in the wind here, guys. I can't speak for everyone, but I got a feeling that most of Americans are not really tuning into podcasts to see a 90s film. You know, a 90s reality show, something where you do fake small talk in the beginning. I mean, this is that good. It's not like no one really believes that you both just walked into this building. here at Martha's Vineyard, and then you started talking, you know? And now you get to say, yeah, this is really not, like, you were there for at least an hour to get set up, if not way more than that. And he's been here before. So the fake authenticity, which would make it inauthentic, it's probably one of the things that's working against him with building that audience. Not that I'm an expert, but I think when people sense that you're full of it, it makes them less likely to listen further.
All the things, but the last time they were here, they had a ball.
Oh, they listen, it's not their fault. It's our fault. Between basketball and music and school, it makes it tough. But I mean, I really appreciate you having us here. How about this?
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
I gotta guess that having a brother that looks like the monkey that played the drums got a haircut is probably not a good idea, good fit. That or Buddha. And I mean that respectfully. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if it's possible. I'm follically challenged as well. But, you know, dress it up, suit it up, bring a hat. Do something. Sitting in front of this floral arrangement in your pink shirt with your gut out. Is he even sitting up? What is this? Why don't you guys go sit on the porch like Grandma used to do? With some sweet tea and talk some smack. That's what you need to do. Sit on the porch. You two ladies, go sit on the porch and talk some smack. Yeah, talk about the time you caught O, you caught Barack, you know, in the pool with oh boy, something. Or I don't know, maybe not even about Barack. Maybe remember the time that Bill was drunk and he was talking about Hillary and how she wouldn't put out something. Give us something, for God's sake. Part of the problem, guys, is Michelle Obama's under the delusion that America cares about her thoughts. We don't care about what our own wives think. I mean, not really. We say that came out wrong, Mrs. Black. What I mean is, no, sometimes we don't. Honestly, sometimes we don't. But we want them to be happy. But Michelle, I don't know what you on, but no one cares about this.
Lucky. I mean, I can actually walk. You know, I can get on a bike and ride for hours. I can walk on my own. You know, you can see the ocean. The towns are.
She's talking about the joys of walking. Yeah. She's not talking about the time she went. I mean, there's a lot of ways she could make this podcast so much better. She could go shopping. She could tell you stories that happened, embellish them a little, maybe. She could she could get any guest possible. You know, I'm thinking, like, who's going to turn down a former first lady to talk some stuff? But she doesn't use it for that. No, she uses it to help people get known through their spouse. Because once again, folks, if it wasn't for Barack being her husband, we wouldn't know who she is. You do understand this. So why would we watch a podcast by a person who, if they weren't married to another person, we wouldn't know who they are, and then they have the audacity to bring more uninteresting people with them? That should be against the law. You know, that's not the formula that works.
Just very quaint. So I'm glad you're here.
I am glad to be here, and our listeners should know that you have your oldest nephew got married this summer.
Why would anybody care about that? They're suggesting that they have listeners, first of all, which is very presumptive of you, man. Yeah, that's real cocky of you, Craig. Every time I've looked up the podcasts of you guys, I always, when I read your name, I always think it's going to be the funny Craig. Then it's you. And I'm like, oh, I die a little inside when I realize it's you, dude. Yeah. Not adding much. And this idea stinks. Ooh, let's talk about other people that they don't care about. Doing something that's uninteresting, like getting married to somebody else we don't know and don't care about. Yeah. This is how, folks, this is how arrogant they are. This is how elitist they are. They think because they like themselves, we will too. They think because they think they're special, we'll think they're special too. They don't think they have to do anything special. They think specialness, everyone's special, and we'll just share our specialness. But no, you have to do special things or have special talents. That's it. More than pumping out babies to Barack is necessary in order to sustain an audience. I mean, I hate to say it, ladies. Somebody got to remind you, even roaches have babies. It's not like you climbed Mount Everest to have someone's baby. Okay? Jesus Christ.
I'm just so happy for Avery.
It was
Avery
really
and
neat.
Emily. So,
Another Mrs. Robinson.
Another Mrs. Robinson.
How
Yeah,
about
that's strange.
That is.
How does it feel having your first child married?
I will tell you that Kelly and I were so focused on the wedding because we didn't.
Is Kelly a man or a woman? Honest question. It's one of those ambiguous names. Not that it matters. Hey, whatever floats your boat, Johnson. Just asking for the audience. I mean, at this point, okay, I'm kind of hoping that you're trans or something because that will liven this up at least. Because this sucks. You're blending into the wall. You know, like the pink and the... This is horrible, man. This is... You know, when they say that it's all about... What's it? They say it's not about... The Republicans on this thing about everybody has to have merit. And then I see this. This is merit? Yeah, I guess they're up here with this podcast. I got a great podcast deal with Apple and Spotify over merit, right? This is merit-based. Now, this is power. This is power and siblings and nepotism and favors and all that other stuff.
Didn't hear
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Or financial stability and starting a family earlier in life. Thanks, Adrian.
Sounds like a familiar dilemma, you know, and the first thing I think about is how I wasn't a risk taker. I think because of the stability that we had in our family, I thought that was the way you led a life, that things were linear, you know?
You know, man, that's your guess. He's not interesting, or maybe he's just not allowed to be interesting here. Why does she think people think she's good at something? You're like, you were married. You're married. So what? That's it? Folks, I'm not seeing a motive. Like, who gave them a podcast? I know they gave it to themselves. They got so much power, no one could tell them no and keep their jobs. People are afraid if they told them no, that things would happen to their careers. So they said yes. They acted like it was a good idea. It's like Michelle and Barack were sitting around one day with a lot of money and a lot of time on their hands, not sleeping with each other, going, hey, Michelle, why don't you start a podcast? Yeah. They'll keep you out of my face. What's that, Barack? Oh, they'll keep you, in place, in space, in the race, start, do the thing, do a podcast. You want to do it with me? No, I was thinking maybe you and your brother could get together. You can stop hanging his ass around here. I mean, what'd you say? Nothing. I was just thinking maybe it'd be a great mix. Have you and your brother have a podcast. You could talk about things that aren't important, but people will love it because it's you. And these poor blacks, they need someone to aspire to.
If you did the right things, if you checked certain boxes, that you were winning in life. And as a result, I think my view of what life could be was way too narrow. But I was off on that path. Not
Tim Black's BS detector.
They say, here's a saying people say, I'd rather watch paint dry. Yeah, I think I'd rather watch paint dry. And the thing is, you can't even see paint as it dries. You got to step back and see if it still got the sheen, you know? Like, is it? I think I'll be more interested in doing that than listening to any more of this podcast. Not a good argument for merit-based, not a good argument for anything. Her podcast is one of the worst podcasts I've seen. Even if it was a podcast about potting soil for houseplants, I think it would probably, not them. If some white lady named Lisa from Nebraska had a YouTube channel about indoor plants and she's doing a segment on potting soil, I bet you it'll be more entertaining than this shit right here I just had to sit through and that you just sat through, because that is bad. And they get to keep doing it because they're special. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Am I wrong? Hey, am I a hater? I'm a Democratic Party hater, so sometimes I got to get checked on this, man. It could just be me, Johnson. I accept it. It could just be me. I could just be a hater, but I don't think I am. Next story. Okay, guys, I found a clip. Yesterday, I tried to explain the tariff thing. This is a real quick clip. I want people to understand the tariffs. I want to give you something that's actually got some meat on the bone. So let's do this. It's about a minute long. A man from CNBC is going to explain tariffs to you in 60 seconds.
With Tim Black.
By and large, tariffs are good for us, and let me break it down. If politics were a video game and the president were a character you could play, tariffs would be your most powerful economic move. But what's a tariff? Basically a tax any business has to pay to bring goods into a country. The USA is uniquely a reasonably big country with a huge consumer class by global standards. So most every sizable company in the world needs to sell here. The argument against tariffs is that they just tax the U.S. consumer. If you say I have to pay $100 to bring my $100 widget over from China, I'll just charge $200 for it. But it doesn't always work that way. What tariffs can also do is encourage companies to avoid the extra charge by making things here in the U.S., or they can level the playing field for U.S. manufacturers who are getting crushed by cheap imports. So you can't just swallow these headlines that claim tariffs are just a tax on U.S. consumers. If tariffs always dramatically raise prices for consumers, why didn't that happen in 2018 and 2019? The truth is that the U.S. has been so focused on making it easy to import goods from other countries that we've made it reflexive for other countries to tariff U.S. products while we let overseas goods flood in, and tariffs can't stop that, Joe.
Well, that was fantastic, John. Thank you. That's John Ford.
There you go. Yes.
Oh.
Now, look, that was the tariff breakdown, guys, and I tried to tell you that yesterday. I don't know if I did an effective job on it or not, but I think it's so important for people to understand what tariffs can do. They can bring jobs here. It's not a Republican talking point. It's something that you can use because the countries that really want to do business here will want to still do business here. One way to do it and not lose their shirt would be to move their manufacturing into the United States. They'd have to hire your cousins. Maybe not you. Maybe you are happy working and doing whatever you're doing, driving for Uber or Instacart. It's great work. But some people could take a $30 job working at a factory or something, and that would be good for them to build their family. At least live indoors. All right, guys, moving on. Okay, so I haven't talked lately about Representative Jasmine Crockett, but that ain't because Jasmine Crockett left. No, Jasmine Crockett is still with us. She's still out here talking. So it brings me to a new segment I'm doing called, So What's Jasmine Crockett Been Doing? I may need to work on the name of it, but I think it says it all. Damn it.
Around the country.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Yeah, that's right. She never stopped talking, man. She's always on something. Black farm ownership decline. You know what? Black people used to farm. It's funny that you would bring that up, Jasmine Crockett. You know, historically, in 1910, black farmers owned approximately 16 million acres of farmland. That's right. Black people used to farm. Currently, in 2022, black farmers operated only 32,000 farms, covering only 5.3 million acres. We went from owning 1.8% of U.S. farmland to 0.1%. Well, less than 1%. The accelerated decline came in 2017 to 2022, where black-owned farms declined by nearly 13% compared to a 7% decline of all farms. We've been declining at twice the rate of farms, of white farms. 500,000 black-owned farmers failed between 1950 and 1975, with about 6 million acres lost from 1950 to 1969. What did it? Discriminatory USDA lending practices. Yeah, the USDA that everyone's complaining about, Trump cutting, they discriminated against us. That's part of the reason why so many black farms went away. Exclusion from essential farm loans and subsidies. Forced sales of heirs' property. The government likes that part. Racist violence and anti-black legislation. Yeah, they burnt our crops. They burnt us out of business. Isn't that something? That sucks when that happens. The mechanization and favored large-scale farming. Mechanization, I should say. Mechanization. And also the farm credit crisis of the 70s. Last but not least, the economic disparity caused black people to lose farms. While black farms made up 1.7 of U.S. farms in 2017, they accounted for only 0.27 of the market value of profits of products sold because the government wasn't buying what the black farmers were producing, unlike the white farms. So there was a lot of things that led to this. But back to your point, Jasmine Crockett, a lot of the people that come across the border ain't going to work on farms. They're going to work in the textile industry, in the food processing industry, in the garment district, in transportation. There's a number, in construction most notably, and landscaping and other professions. Yeah, they got machines now, Jasmine Crockett, to pick vegetables and fruits, mechanically. There are machines for this. Go to my YouTube channel. You'll see a couple of them using videos. Or you can just Google farmland machines, and you'll see there are machines that collect the fruits and the vegetables.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton.
Working on a farm is not picking cotton. First of all, field hands or these, even if it was true, maybe it was true back 30 years ago, before they took over the construction industry, being new migrants, they took over the construction industry and a lot of the restaurant industry as well. Or behind the cooking area, restaurant industry. Even if that was true, though, Jasmine Crockett, it's important to note that they were getting paid. Black Americans were working in the fields, which you referred to as slavery. Working on a farm and getting paid to work on the farm is not what black people had to do. Black people were slaves. They weren't getting paid. And I know you want to be a stand-up comedian, and I understand that, and I respect that. Maybe you should go on tour. But this isn't helping anyone. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Let's keep going.
We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I know that's right.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And as I'm sure you can assume, we see this a little bit differently. Here we go again, talking about Biden, and more Biden. Today is nothing more than a dog and pony show for Republicans to avoid facing the American people for their trash policies that are killing the economy and our democracy. Despite Republicans' claim of backing the blue and being the party of law and order, we're here today because Republicans are willing to throw our country's top law enforcement agents under the bus to appease Trump and execute his political vengeance. Now, I know remembering things is hard for some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, like remembering not to add reporters into a signal chat discussing military war plans. But let me remind my colleagues that it was Trump who decided to store national secrets and classified documents next to his oversized bathtub and toilet at Mar-a-Lago. It was Trump who took the documents out of the boxes.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Yeah, man, this is what she spends her time doing when she's on Capitol Hill. She's not pushing for a certain legislation to help black people, or any people actually, or help Texans. But instead, she's trying to play the dozens. She's still doing the same old shtick, just less people are watching her. Look, man, hey, man, I'm here. Ain't nobody going to defend Trump putting boxes by his toilet. But what's better, Biden putting them in his garage by his old Corvettes? Or maybe Hillary setting up her own software server and housing all her emails at home, all her emails, against the law. And Democrats got mad when people brought it up and said how we were nitpicking and just being misogynistic. And when I guess both Biden and Trump did the same thing, how can you trash Trump and defend Biden doing it? You can't. And at least when Trump did it, he was president. Biden did it when he was vice president.
I want to add one more point. As a civil rights attorney, I have had to sue law enforcement. There have been times that I can truly say that law enforcement has crossed the line.
There has been times when law enforcement crossed the line. She could actually say that. There's been times when they've crossed the line. Go ahead, Jazz. You're going to make me take back everything bad I said. Go in and stand up for black people.
I truly believe that there can be one or two in a bunch that can ruin everyone.
Did you just hear what she said? Black American, did you just hear what she said? She just used a Republican talking point to defend cops. She just said one or two bad apples could spoil the bunch. See, I've been telling y'all she's for the smack. Yeah, this ain't about her making an off-color joke or roasting somebody. This is about her defending bad cops. She said, yeah, I have found the occasional bad cop. And yeah, one or two bad cops could spoil the bunch. She wrote that. That's not a slip of the tongue. She's reading it. She got in trouble for freestyling. Now she's writing down her lyrics. I'm going to need everybody to rewind this. I don't want to rewind it. I don't want to lose my place. But all the people that said, Tim Black, stop hating on her sister. Did you just hear what she just said? She's defending cops. Bad cops. You one or two bad cops to spoil the bunch. As if it's only one or two. As if that's really the problem. We have millions of cops in this country. Easily hundreds of thousands. I don't know if it's millions. We got hundreds of thousands of cops. She's going to say one or two bad apples. That's what she just said. That's what she just said. Y'all need to stop defending her just because she's got lashes like the ones your sister wears.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
I wonder how much longer Black America's going to go on with this charade that she's doing. It's going to let her pass by, I don't know, because she says dang and y'all. Come on now. Come on now. I wonder how much longer you're going to let that stand.
The problem that I have right now, though, is that we have decided to focus in on something that my Republican colleagues have decided to term as being political. What is political is when somebody says that they are going to come back and seek retribution. What is political is firing people because they simply were following the evidence and doing their jobs.
It can also be political to go after somebody to begin with. You could go after somebody politically to tie them up in court. That's political too, Jasmine Crockett. I mean, come on, guys. We're smart enough to know this, right? You don't like somebody, you're able to stick the cops on them, you do it. People go political on you all the time or go law enforcement on you all the time. Have a next door neighbor that says you're playing your music too loud. Say, I wasn't playing it too loud. They're gone political on you. They went and told the landlord on you. They're going political on you. Someone says, makes up a whole number of things. People do it all the time. You don't think people do this in politics? They do it in your regular life to you. Jazz is up here acting like it would be like finding, I don't know, the Masters, Princess Masters in his bathroom. Like, you know, crazy stuff. Or maybe if we found out that maybe he was killed for his masters. That's not that kooky. Worth multiple millions of dollars. So she's denying reality that people do go political. And some politics can influence what people do. In small towns all across this country, there are small town judges and big town judges that do things for politics, do things for friends. It happens all the time. Going political is not just something the Democrats and Republicans do. She's acting like it's a crazy idea that only Trump could ever do, though he's only been in politics for 5 years of his life. And people have been playing politics for hundreds of years in this world. And we still got people that are delusional to think it only applies to Trump. And that's what this rant she's going on is about. She's denying that people went after Trump for political reasons.
As law enforcement has been trained to do. And ultimately, regardless of whether or not anyone believes that it was right to indict the president, not once, not twice, not 3, but 4 times he was indicted. Ultimately, each of you knows enough to know that at the end of the day, it is citizens that sit on a grand jury that are the ones that decide whether or not evidence exists to go forward with an indictment.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Folks, I need you to understand that there's a statement called, there's a saying that's said about indictments. Any lawyer worth his own weight, you could get a ham sandwich indicted. Meaning, getting an indictment is nothing, because in an indictment there's no rebuttal, there's no other alternative facts presented. You tell the jury what you're going to prove, and as long as it makes like it sounds like it makes sense, the jury goes with it. I mean, getting an indictment is the easiest thing in the world to do when it comes to the legal process. It's very simple. And the fact that she would say, folks, I know you're smart enough, that means she doesn't think you're smart, because it's common knowledge that getting indictments is very easy. Folks, anytime they've ever were unable to get an indictment against a bad cop, it's because they didn't want to. It's that simple. You have to not want to get the indictment to not get the indictment. You can get the indictment. It's a very easy process. Once again, there's no rebuttal witnesses. No one gets to stand up and say, hey, that's not true. You don't even have to present all your evidence. You just get to say what you're going to prove and set up the narrative and set up a cause and set up what you will prove in a court. You just tell them, hey, I'm going to prove this person did this, and I'm going to prove that they did this and the other thing. And these are the laws that they broke. And the court says it sounds like that's good enough. If you can do that, sure, we'll indict. And that's it. That's your indictment, folks. And the fact that Jasmine Crockett will lie to everyone about how easy that process is says a lot about her character, folks. Real talk. But let's keep going.
Black's BS detector.
Jasmine Crockett's been making a lot of news. She's a Democrat, represents southeastern part of Dallas, Texas, your home state. She revealed this when she found a job in the legal world. But this is how she described it in her own words. I'll go ahead and play it and get your reaction.
When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, let me tell you something. When I walk in, I'm gonna walk in with a level of rapport and understanding that maybe some of my other colleagues will not. Charlie offered me my job, and I worked my butt off, and I worked really, really hard for all of my clients, not just those that look like me, and that is what it looks like to serve.
Maybe in the end she was qualified for that job. What do you think of that story and the way she recalls it?
Well, you can't have it both ways, and Jasmine and I just don't see the world the same way. I don't want to walk in a room and get a job because I'm black. I want to walk in a room and get a job because I'm qualified. Because
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Yeah, this guy, Leslie, whatever his name is, forget his name that quick. I got to disagree with him. She was a lawyer. It's not like she wasn't a lawyer. It wasn't like she walked in off the street doing windows at Home Depot or something, or flipping, hot cakes over at the local IHOP, or working at the Greasy Spoon, working at the Waffle House. Nah, she was a lawyer. She just hadn't worked, and she'd been a lawyer before this. She wasn't fresh out of school. She just hadn't done criminal defense lawyering, whatever that was she was applying for, which is a different blend of it. And she says, I want to come in and do this. She was qualified. Wasn't that she wasn't qualified? She just wasn't seasoned in that particular line of lawyering. But she passed the bar, and she was able to practice legally. See, we're not going to do the thing where we pretend that doesn't matter. Okay, that's what it's all about. DEI and all this DEI hire, affirmative action hire, you're implying that the person's not qualified. Now, you can't even say that in the types of disciplines where people need paperwork. Yeah, if you got paperwork, you are qualified. Now, there could be somebody with more qualifications, and that's a whole nother thing. Okay? That's a whole nother thing. But, hey, if you got to have a driver's license to drive the truck, having a driver's license to drive the truck makes you qualified. Now, is he more qualified than someone else? That bears that we can have that argument based on what the person's looking for. Okay, maybe they wanted somebody who could relate to other clients. So that's why they thought they would use a Jasmine Crockett who has the baseline qualifications to get the job. You don't know if she doesn't have a baseline. She may even have a better LSAT score or whatever than some other people that are currently there. You don't know. So I'm not going to throw her under the bus with cheap shots. And I know you know that. Wesley Hunt, that's his name, Wesley Hunt. I know he knows that. He's just being disingenuous. Let's keep going.
Tim Black's BS detector.
I am educated because I have hard work, grit, determination, because I believe in this country. That's why I am a United States congressman in a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 20 points, and I just won by 27 points. And the reason is because of this. I am literally living Dr. Martin Luther King's dream by being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character.
Tim.
They may have chose you because you were a black space monkey looking mofo. No, real talk. They may have picked you because you were, just fresh out of someone's butt cheeks kissing ass. That may be why they picked you. Yeah, man. Just because I call out the Democrats and I'm what you call a Democratic Party hater does not mean that I will abide this type of nonsense. They knew you were black, Goofy. Sometimes that works for you, sometimes it works against you. But let's not pretend it's not a factor. They all can see you. None of them are going, I have no idea what color Wesley Hunt is. I couldn't even tell. In fact, those are the worst people because they're denying that they have eyes. Don't deny you have eyes. Just don't let the person's color be a determining factor of who you go with. That's all. Don't let that be the deciding thing that you need. That's a problem when they do that. But let's not pretend that we live in a colorless world, Goofy. It's because it's a good talking point. And the only reason why I can imagine a black man of all people on the planet all people in the United States anyway, all the people in the United States, to say something like that would be a black man. You know? To me, that's lower than low. But hey, keep going.
Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
The people in my district don't see color. They see somebody that's going to represent this district to the best of their ability, regardless of what they look like.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Yeah, they see somebody who will kiss butt to the best of their ability and talk really fast and furious. I talk like really fast and furious. And they're going to talk about the things that they did, what they did. And I'll be brother, you had to beat one person. I'm just guessing you're up against one person in your district, and it's probably a very red district, and you probably kissed Trump's ass or somebody else who came down and vouched for you, and that got you over the hump. Let's not act as if, brother. You know, just because you beat that one Democrat who was a white guy probably doesn't make you amazing, Mr. Hunt. Yeah, it doesn't mean they loved you. Yeah, you know, it could mean that. It doesn't have to necessarily mean that. It definitely doesn't mean they can't see their colors. All of them drove there. It didn't run into anybody in traffic. That means they can see the stoplight colors. Yeah, let's not act delusional. It's one thing to say, hey, just say you disagree with her. Say, hey, you know what? I don't want my deciding factor to be the color of my skin. I want it to be the quality of my work. And then, you know, if you like a black guy better because I got more style, well, hell, you know. It's all good. You want to save on suntan lotion? I get it, man. I'm your guy. That's cool. But to like act delusional, like you have no concept of black, white, like there's no colors in the rainbow. Come on, man. This is goofy stuff. And that's coming from a Democratic Party hater.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
I never want to be demeaned for what I have done and the sacrifices that I have made for this country just because of the way I look. I want to be hired because of my acumen and my ability, and I'll end with this. I see myself as an American. I'm a proud husband. I am a father. I am a veteran. I am an educated man. I am a follower of Christ, and I'm also a black man. I am very...
And you also are smug beyond belief. Are you? You also remind me a lot of Dave Chappelle's character in Nutty Professor. Rocky Ronnie. I don't know, man. Don't even just a little bit. You're a cartoon character, dude. Come on, Wesley Hunt. Come on, man. You're ready. You're rich already, rich at all. I'm just saying, man. You're just goofy, man. I don't know what it is. Man, congratulations on the job, dude. I hope hope things go well for you. Jesus, what's wrong with this guy, man? It's just, I don't know, man. It's obviously an anvil landed on your head when you were a kid and stunted your growth and your cognitive ability to tell what's going on in this country, man. This country has a lot of racist, it does. It's not everything, though. Obviously, you know, some people have found ways to move beyond it. But let's not pretend, like, I won't let you pretend that it's not a factor in life. It's working for you, and that's good, and I hope it continues to work for you. I'm sure there's some mediocre white guys who are in the same position as you, and you sit back with your friends and smoke cigarettes or cigars, you and Byron, and you go, how the hell they get that job? They're not outstanding at all. And they're there for a reason. All right, let's keep going, Johnson.
Proud of it, but I am all those things before that because the number one thing for me is being
a moron. Now, it just sounds like he's just trying so hard. Laying the cut. Wesley? All right, guys, let me know what you think about this one, man. Look, guys, look. You got to hand it to me. I decided I was going to, I didn't want this to turn into, I'm going to just call balls and strikes. Had to call balls and strikes on that. In all the ways I disagree with Jasmine Crockett, we're not going to pretend that she don't have a law degree. You can't do that. You can't pretend she ain't qualified. It's like she was waiting tables. You know, now AOC is not qualified. You know what I'm saying? If you want to talk about qualifications. Right? Lauren Boebert's not qualified, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene's not qualified. Like, those are the people we need to talk about. We talk about qualifications. But we all know you won't talk about them. Will you, Wesley? Because you might want to ask them out on the date. Ain't that right, Wesley? And because they're Republicans. All right, guys, give us a like as we go into the last segment of the night. Last segment of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. We've been talking about the case in Texas. Frisco, Texas, where one kid kills another kid, and it's a tragic event. We've been talking about it. Well, and that's, you know, I've been on that. I'm not going to stop covering. I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue to cover that case because I think it's important. I think I've got a calling to handle that case. Okay. Bad time now. Bad time to get a little, it's going to be a tough segment. I gotta go to God, thought it was cool. I don't know. I guess I gotta call it like I see it. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so take this from the top, guys. This is I'm going to put this out as a separate clip. All right, guys. So here on the Tim Black Show, we've been covering a case out of Frisco, Texas. It involves a track and field star, a football player by the name of Carmelo Anthony, and a white kid who's a football star, was a football star by the name of Austin Metcalf. He's a twin, his brother, Hunter. And what happened there? We've been covering it. You know I've been covering it. Well, so now we're going to cover somebody else who's also been covering that story. His name is Eddie Griffin, and he's a comedian. And I don't think he was making jokes when he did this segment. It was brought to my attention, and I thought I'd comment on it. Let's go, people.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Eddie has music, so I had to take that out. And he does a lot of...
Welcome to NNN, where we give it to you straight, no chase. So let's get right into it. In San Francisco, Texas, Austin Metcalf was stabbed to death. His twin brother tried to save him, but he was pronounced dead on arrival at the local hospital. His father got on the news and said that, you know, this wasn't a race thing. It was a human thing.
I want to clarify something right off the start because I've already heard some rumors and gossip. This was not a race thing, and this is not a political thing. Please do not comment if you do not know what happened. Do not turn this into a racial thing. It was not. Do not politicize this. It's not. This is a human being thing.
You know, and then there's reports that, you know, they were bullying the stabber, and that's why he stabbed him. But, you know, if you get bullied, you know, just knuckle up, you know.
Yeah, I got a problem with this, man. I got a real problem with it. I don't know why he's soft shoeing it, man. This is that characteristic of Eddie Griffin, man. Eddie Griffin know damn well there are lots of people that get in all types of situations, and they don't knuckle up all the time. He knows that. So I don't know why he's saying this. And also, you don't find it, Eddie didn't find it interesting at all that we got this white father with his two sons. It don't take much to find him in a bunch of camouflage doing various things. You know, to be saying it's not race related. I mean, obviously, I believe, obviously, there going to be some things come out about his sons. Like maybe they've used the N-word a couple times, Maybe he knows his kids and he knows how he raised them. Maybe it's possible that there are some racial things going on with them. I mean, they live in Frisco, Texas. That area of Texas is predominantly white. It's only like 8% black in the entire town. So I just wonder, I'm surprised, frankly, when I saw this, when I was sent this, and then I saw it to confirm it, I'm a little disappointed. I could imagine that Eddie would take the bait like that. Someone telling me it's not racist, it's not racial. I want the black person to tell me it's not racial, okay? Because if I feel that if Austin Metcalf and his brother, if they hadn't started it, none of this happens. I don't know why Eddie can't see that, but let's keep going. Maybe he's going to explain why he feels that way.
Why is it always weapons involved with these little retarded children? You got a gun, you shoot.
Why is it always weapons with these little retarded children? I don't know. He was outnumbered, Eddie. That could be one reason, right? And he didn't start shooting. He hit him once and ran. He didn't even know that Austin didn't survive. He asked the cop. First thing he said was, "Is he okay?" Because he didn't know. He didn't sit around to know. He got out of there because he was afraid, Eddie, and he ran. And both those guys are bigger than him, by the way. So maybe that has something to do with it. God, I'm disappointed. I mean, Eddie's got a whole news station. No fact checkers, no researchers. Come on, Eddie. I'm expecting more of you, man. We both got on sunglasses.
You got a knife, you stab a motherfucker. I mean, he was just talking to you.
Nah, he put his hands on him, Eddie. Oh, so Eddie didn't research shit. Oh, I get it now. Eddie doesn't even know that he told the guy to keep his hand. What are you watching? You watch Fox News, Eddie? You don't watch anywhere else to fact check? I'm not saying you got to watch MSNBC, but you got to watch more than just Fox. What are you watching? The Daily Caller? I mean, look, guys, look, this is one of the things that I was worried about black folks doing. Hey, man, I hate the Democrats, man. I'm a Democratic Party hater. I get it. But don't go so far away from them that you end up a Republican. Nah, man, don't do that shit. When I was criticizing Kamala, it didn't mean for you to go become Tim Scott. No, don't do that. No. The pivot from that shit, okay? Yeah, they put his hands on, the father said, and the brother said. Austin put his hands on Carmelo. Not the other way around. Then Kamala says, if you hit me, you're going to be sorry. Then he grabbed him again, and that's when he hit him with the knife and ran off. Eddie Griffin, man, once again, all this money, this nice set, all that money telling jokes, spend some of it on fact checking. This is bad, brother.
So, I don't get that part of it. And then, and his father coming out saying, that it was a human thing. Your son just died a day before, and that's all you got to say? Oh, and for all you white people out there trying to turn it into a race thing, the dad already said it wasn't no race thing. It was.
You see, Eddie doesn't know shit. They were harassing him, Eddie. They were harassing Austin. I'm sorry. Austin and Hunter were harassing Carmelo Anthony. He asked them to leave him alone. They would not. They said, you ain't got no business standing here, N-word. Move it on. This is our tent. And he said, don't put your hands on me. Something that I know you would do. You'd be like, I know you ain't going to touch me. Eddie, we already know how you would go if some good old boys told you that you had to move. You'd look at him and be like, I don't, is he talking to me? First of all, you wouldn't be alone. But if you were, I still don't think you would just be like, oh, yes, but yes, sir. Let me get out the way. Wouldn't want to eyeball you. I'm sorry I looked at you. Shouldn't be eyeballing you. I apologize, sir. I'll just be over there if you need me to get you anything. Let me know if you need me to get you a fruit punch or an apple pie or anything. to tend to your horses. Now, Eddie, those Austin Metcalf, don't let the blubbering father fool you. He know what kind of kids he raised. Raised the kind of kids that during a rainstorm wouldn't let a kid sit under their tent and felt like they could police him and move him along. And then put hands on him after being told repeatedly, don't touch me. I've heard other reports, but I can't verify them, so I'm not going to recite them. But I will tell you this, they all agreed it was raining, and the father and the son and the twin son that survived did say his brother laid hands first. And the mother said, my son, Austin, that's how he was, always the first to step up and get involved. Yeah, get involved. Be aggressive. Take charge. Put hands on people that you neither birthed, nor raised, nor owned, Eddie. Come on, man. This is horrible, man. This is horrible. It's not good, Eddie. It's not good.
It was kids being kids. Kids like bullying. Some kids can handle it, some kids can't. This kid in particular couldn't handle it, so he went for the knife. That's all it is. You're trying to turn it. Why is everything in America about some race war? Out of here. People are people, so why can't it be? You and I should get along so awfully. I think that's a song by Depeche Mode, 1984. We'll be right back after this commercial break. And my condolences to the parents, even that father. I mean, I guess people deal with death in different ways. I don't know. If it was one of my sons, somebody got to die. I'm going to jail with a Kool-Aid smile on my face.
So let me get this right, Mr. Walkoff. Get this right. Let's make sure we understand each other. So the father who could be upset about his son it's okay for him to go do an eye for an eye, right? That's what you're saying. But it's not okay for the black kid who's being jumped by two bigger white kids to take up for himself. It's kind of weird how you're looking at this. It seems a little weird to me that you would come to that conclusion that the white guy could go kill a black kid who killed his son, defending himself from his son and the twin that were together. I don't know who else was there, but we know those two were together. And rumors say they were jumping him. But we already know that he did put his hands on this young man before he stabbed him. It's not like he walked up and stabbed him. In Texas and many other places, many places where people live in America, if you put your hands on somebody, it's open season. Ain't no rules. No one knows what's going to happen. Sometimes people pull guns. Sometimes they pull knives. In Texas, almost everybody's got a gun or a knife. That's what I'm being educated on about Texas. But the problem I got with you, Eddie, is it seems like you're okay with dad killing a black man, but you have a problem with a black kid defending himself against two other white kids. Like I said, this did not have to happen. All the white kid had to do is keep his hands to himself. How hard is that to do? And for you asking why the young man felt he had a reason to have a knife, maybe because they'd had laid hands on him before. You ever thought about that, Eddie? Maybe it was to defend himself from them putting their hands on him, Eddie. I'm disappointed, but hey, maybe Eddie just let this one get away from him. You know what I'm saying? It happens. Lord knows I've made mistakes. I still rock with Eddie's comedy. It's just his political, social commentary skills sometimes, maybe he needs to consult with Tim Black. I come cheap, Eddie. You know what I'm saying? I won't charge you much. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. You agree with Eddie or you agree with me? I tend to agree with me, but I'm biased, and I can admit it. All right, guys. Let's go to the comment section. Comments. Who's in the house? Black Mamba's in the house looking for the perfect coffee mug or your TBTV Legacy mug, $20 to your door. Free shipping. Thank you, Black Mama. I tell you, man. I got a new member, Request 2000. That's what's up, Request 2000. Thank you for joining. Popane Shelley, that BS detector is a winner. Everybody share across all platforms. Thank you, Popano Shelley. Popano, yeah, Shelley, yeah, man. Thank you, brother. I think it's a nice touch. You know, I don't want to just keep interrupting without some flavor. The amazing Megs is in the house. Thank you, Megs, for joining us as well and giving out some love to 5 members, man. You guys are great. Thank you for supporting this channel and keeping people coming back to the Tim Black Show. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this segment. Give me a like before you leave. You can always reach me at tim@timblacktv.com. That's where I'm at. All right, so I look forward to seeing you. We'll be back Wednesday for more Tim Black Show. Like I always say, don't let anybody take your cornbread. Not even white guys in Texas. What else? Oh, I know. Damn, something I wanted to say. I'm getting better and better each day. Thank you for asking, folks, about my health. Better and better each day. Not 100%, but we getting there. I've almost got my smile back. With that, where's my ladies and gentlemen? Where are my ladies? Oh, there they go.